kid. I am not your mama, just admit what you did.
Yeah, Delacroix is one of the best places to, if you don't have current but you have wind, you can find moving water.
Yeah.
Partly because it's so destroyed.
Yeah, so many it just flows all different directions too when the wind blows. Got one?
Yep. Ooh, this is oh,
Come on.
all the big fish.
He stayed down, didn't he?
He's pulling hard, really hard.
What's that, Magneto?
No, this is the
Oh, that's the ultraviolet.
Yep. Well, welcome back. Caught a couple fish now on the matrix shad ultraviolet on a 1/4 ounce jig head. We're along the Mr. Go rocks, but there's basically no current yet. Tide is changing, so there's actually a little more activity than I expect, but I think it's going to be a good day once the tide starts falling, and we should wrap up on some fish. Hopefully I catch one like I just lost. Seemed very big. Oh, killer. You know, it's the worst thing is that you had it on there and you don't actually know how big it was. Before we get to this exciting day of fishing, if you haven't noticed yet, it's 2020. It's a new decade, and that's a great reason to try some new stuff. And that's what I'm going to do on this channel. I've got big plans for 2020. I've already invested in some new equipment and this new studio space. In fact, I'm filming here for the first time in my new studio space, and I've got a lot of work to do on it yet. It's still a work in progress. I've got lighting to work on backdrops and other things like that. But at least now I have a big space to work from, something that will be more, hopefully more creatively stimulating, and something that will help me improve the post-production, the efficiency of my post-production, and allow me to do some new varieties of filming, things with gear and just things that require a bit more workspace. So I'm going to do all that in 2020. And not only that, I'm going to be taking some fishing trips to neighboring Gulf Coast states, and including a trophy trout fishing trip, and at least one, maybe there'll be many. But a lot of exciting things coming down the line in 2020, and stay with me, and I promise to deliver some exciting and improved quality of the videos on this channel. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, what are you waiting for? This channel will give you some of the best scientific analysis and everyday tips that you can use out on the water. So hit the subscribe button, and let's get back to the fishing content. Yeah, you might have to change to ultraviolet.
Oh yeah, I'm fixing to.
This is a little, it feels like it. Fat one. Dang. They are
definitely in catch and release mode today.
Even if I'm trying to catch, it's catch and release. They are
slimy.
Oh, man, they are slimy today and active. So one story of today is the water temperature is 59 degrees. So this is the coldest water temperature I've fished in the Mr. Go for, I don't know, a month. This is actually fairly cold, and if you see my recent videos, I've been in the 60s, low 60s to mid 60s, so expect a little more activity in the deeper parts of the Mr. Go today. That's a decent one. Oh yeah, that's a fat one. That's a good, close to 15 and fat.
We're pretty fatty. Gonna be away from the rocks a little bit, huh?
Yeah, seems to be.
This
seems to be effective where we're close to the rocks and casting out. We're probably casting like 12 foot of water. I mean, it is kind of a flat here. It's like, you know, it comes off the rocks, it's about 10 feet here. It's kind of gradual, and then it'll drop off. It's kind of gradual out to maybe 14 to 16, and then it really starts.
So they got some good contours to get on.
Yeah. And then they got, you know, this area's got some of those random rocks in it. There we go.
There we go.
See, that was perfect. I was on that rock. I could feel the rock.
Yeah, they holding right there. A nice
then,
fish.
Yep. And
Pretty.
Here they come.
They holding on that rock.
God, these things are falling off too. Now here's look at it. Look at the bottom of that fish.
He's laying on bottom.
Look at that. He's laying right on those rocks. Bang the bait off the rocks, pop it over the rocks, and he takes it. Yeah, it's a lot of rocks.
It's a lot of rocks.
A lot of rocks on there. Quite a lot of time when we're targeting speckled trout, we can ID from the surface visible structure or features that will hold speckled trout, and that we can target where we can target the speckled trout. And this might be a cut coming out of the marsh and say into a bayou, and you can see the moving water there, and you cast into the moving water. Or it could be islands where you're casting along islands, or rigs. All these things are very visible. Well, when you have underwater submerged cover or features that are not visible, like it could be wrecks, it could be oyster beds, or it could be submerged rock piles, it's a lot tougher to find these features, and it takes some work. And that can be done by looking at your sonar. If you're looking at submerged islands, you can go to old maps and or charts like the raster image charts, and find the islands that existed and now are washed over. Sometimes they're just completely flat, so I've often gone to islands I was hoping to find some structure there, and there was nothing there. It was just flat. So sometimes it doesn't work out. But along the Mr. Go channel here, there are these piles of submerged rocks, and I'm assuming that they're there because when the channel was built, when they piled the rocks on the bank, some of them fell down, or maybe some of them fell off accidentally from the barges and created a pile. And so the really attractive ones for fishing are the ones that are away from the bank in a little bit deeper water. So this could be like we're experiencing here. We're trying to target in like 10 to 12 feet of water and finding these rock piles in 10 to 12 feet of water. Now, if you've got sonar, you can find these rock piles just by moving along the bank, or I'm not always watching my sonar. I'm often finding these rock piles by hitting them with my jigs. What's wrong with that fish?
Nice keeper.
Hit me. There, I got him.
That little hole right there, the little hole. Nice
fish.
That's a decent fish there. He's pretty.
A decent fish.
Oh yeah. And
These fish have.
That's unbelievable.
Like today they have extra soft mouths or something.
Oh, you just did.
It's pretty though. That's beauty too. Oh, come on. I felt like
Fish?
I felt like a fish. That's a fish. Yeah. Ah! Lost it.
Oh.
But that's a fish.
Yeah, that probably was the first one that hit was a
Yep.
fish.
This time, stay on. Oh yeah. It's a nice fish.
Oh yeah, that is a nice one. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Quarter ounce head.
Yep. Pretty. Oh, what do I got? Fish?
Yes,
Fish.
sir. Nice one too. That must have been what you hit a while ago. Yeah, that's
Probably
pretty.
was a fish.
Huh?
Yep. That thing I just hit back there.
Yeah.
Yep, probably was a fish. Ooh, these are cold.
That's what I said. They colder than them other ones.
Like ice cream sandwich.
Don't they feel colder?
They do feel cold.
Right there, you hit it, just letting it swim. That's 11 foot. Look, right there. I just let it fall again.
Okay.
I was
There
just
we
letting
go.
it drop.
Nope. There it is. There we go.
Got him? Oh, that's a really nice one.
Come on in here. There we go. I don't know if you're gathering what's going on here. We've been looking for, we think we've ID'd the best condition here, which is around 12 feet. Helps to have rocks down there and also grass. Those are all kind of variables that we're finding together where we catch the fish. So we just drift here, try to get into that depth. Here it's very close to the rocks. I mean, that's how close we are to the Murgo rocks, and it's 12 feet. So it's much different than if you go to Murgo North, where 12 feet is a good 30 to 50 feet off of the rocks. And there are a lot of rocks, and we got to deal with snagging on rocks a lot. So why are the trout hanging around these submerged piles of rock? Well, I believe it's because of the food transition they've had to make. You know, they were feeding on shrimp, and when the shrimp are in, they're going to be in these big schools of shrimp. They're going to be these groups that move around. The trout will shoal for them, and the shrimp are down the bottom eating detritus, which is very different than the fin fish that they now have to feed on because the shrimp are gone. And these fin fish are going to be more solitary. They're going to be more isolated to cover, like these submerged rock. And these are going to be fin fish like kakaho minnows, sheep's head minnows, croakers, even small crabs. And we've been finding some small crabs in the stomachs of trout lately. And so these types of fish are going to be on the bottom, hanging around cover for protection. And the trout, some of the trout, not all of the trout, but some of the trout will be able to hang around the rocks, and they'll be able to survive very well down there. It's a nice, it's a less dynamic environment with water current and temperature changes. So it's a good place to hang out, and if they can find an area where it also has a source of food in some of these finfish, and they've got it made. And we do too, because we can use the submerged rocks to find them. Same deal. Let that 1/4 ounce jig head just drift. Boom. Nice fish. Yeah, this is the second bass that we've caught along here with the speckled trout.
Imagine there's some 4 and 5 pound trout get in this, Mr. Go.
Oh yeah, I mean I've caught 4-pounders in here, but
Yeah,
not the last couple years. There's one. That's got to be fish. There's nothing, it's got no grass. Gotta be trout. Oh yeah, that's trout.
Look at my-
Yeah. Well, I certainly hope you're enjoying your New Year's Day and excited about 2020. I certainly am. There's a lot of great things I'm looking forward to in the world of fishing in the coming year. And if you haven't tried anything new for a while, use 2020 as the excuse to do that. Maybe try some new techniques. Maybe try some artificial if you're a live bait fisherman, or maybe even for us artificial people, maybe we could try tight lining some big pogies or a big mullet for some really large fish. Who knows? Whatever will float your boat, but use 2020 to stretch yourself a little bit in your knowledge and your techniques for fishing, and you can use the information on this channel to help you do that. So hit the subscribe button, and I will see you again soon.